Alright, something different tonight, and this thing will shut off in a minute, or we'll move out here in the yard where you can hear me. I'll mute up as we play this stuff. But we're going to doom scroll, but we're going to focus on the wildfire clips and divert and try to find more information, since there's pretty much no national media coverage that I'm aware of these wildfires, like you think there would be. It's just now. It's mainly us people on TikTok is where I'm seeing the damage, and didn't hear much about the Nebraska fires that we had recently. So we're live. We're going to talk about that, folks, here on just the YouTube. We're not on TikTok right now. Right now we're just doing Flat Earth on TikTok because we can't talk about these other things. Every little thing could get you removed. Here they got more of a fair guideline system, so we're going to get into it, folks. Bear with us. We're live. Spam the comments. Tap the hearts. We're looking at verified fact. Now, what we're going to go over in regards to this subject is not just only is a wide variety that goes with this subject, from admissions to these things being real, documents on the subject. Whenever we bring this up, sometimes we bring in the documents again, or we get new ones verifying the existence, or even sometimes with the surveillance state that we have, or with the media putting weather cameras up on the high buildings and towers, that you can see this stuff sometimes. And so with this one, I want to bring it back and maybe play some of the clips of what I'm going to get into and describe, because everybody keeps telling me I'm from up here, man. It's like the same shit in California. It's like these weapons. But I want to do some other shit too, because it's not only just these type of weapons. They have different other bigger beams that implode buildings that don't burn them necessarily, so they can burn things. And so we're going to get into it. You know, there's a lot of metal in a house, a lot of cars, a lot of things that usually go up first and then it spreads. But we're looking at a lot of the power poles and the trees nearby. In cedar forest, especially, if we can prove there's a lot of cedar forest, that stuff should go up quick. And this looks like a targeted event to keep the woods and maybe to disrupt neighborhoods. So bear with me. I have evidence. I have testimony and witness. We probably could even invite people on TikTok that I know about this. Or maybe just do a whole live about it, interviewing people. I think I just want to talk about the wildfires and get eyewitness report of people. Hey, if you're from any of these wildfires across the country, particularly the ones that are active now, what are you witnessing? And compared to others, do you think this is orchestrated? Wildfires don't have hot spots that form in a straight line. You know what I mean? What happens is a fire starts somewhere and the wind makes it slowly spread, burning onto the stuff next to it. So if there's miles of gap in between and they all start at the same time, that could tell you that a deliberate line they want to get started, that'll kind of go east and west and spread. But you know, they're making sure, you know, there's something else going on there, and we can prove that, folks. So bear with us. We'll get set up here and we'll get into it. But yeah, this is specifically about the wildfire. Now, you can message me on TikTok or Facebook at DJ Dyko, or even email. During a live, you can spam the chat right now and say, hey, look, I'm from there. If the chat gets busy, some lives we're popping thousands of people. Some lives we only have 3. So if we get busy, it's all caps if you need. Spam it, and I'll get back, because I don't always read the chat when I'm rambling or when I'm reading something or trying to show y'all something, or when we're playing sometimes when we're playing a video, I'll read it, or just keep spamming. Say, hey, I'm a witness. I got evidence. Whatever it is. If you have any footage or anything like that, the police response, all your stories, we'd like to hear it. Without further ado, we're going to get into some of these YouTube clips. Before we get into the recent ones, I want to throw it back with something else that we just completely left our brain. And if you don't mind, I would like to try to take it back here. Folks, big salute to Sean, he's coming back. But let's see if we can YouTube, there it is. We're going to look for the clip here, if it's still up. But do y'all remember an incident a few years back, right, in Tennessee, And normally, a smart person is not going to announce to the neighborhood that they're going to blow up the neighborhood. But in this case, the RV in Nashville or in Tennessee, wherever it was, that he did just that. Like ice cream truck, old school style PA system on the roof. RV pulls up, evacuate the neighborhood, it's about to go. And then it wasn't even the RV. And we'll get into that. It wasn't even the primary thing, wasn't the RV. Witnesses and experts that reviewed the photos of the site of the incident or that were there have also came public back then and said that's not consistent with that type of alleged explosive. Something else happened. Well, lo and behold, that was caught on camera. If you ask me, that was caught on camera by the tower cam on what exactly it was. So we're going to try to find that clip. So a month ago, which we've already seen public stuff. When I was in school, they were talking about lasers and stuff on the ships. Now we have, real quick, I want to try to find that clip, but I can't. That's why I'm describing what happened, so you can find the clip. But I do want to play this. This was a month ago. The Pentagon, public with direct energy weapons. Public, folks. Alright, so when the Pentagon's public with it, why are you denying that now that they've admitted it before, they're admitting it again? Here's the clip. News Nation. Hang on, I gotta get over here. I think I'm a little too far away from the router outside. Stick with me, stick with me, stick with me. Mainstream news here. We're back. Mainstream news. Pentagon admits to this technology that we're going to discuss. And we're going to describe what the aftermath would look like. Even asking a few AIs.
Well, Secretary of War Hegseth just got a live demonstration of directed energy weapons. He says the Pentagon intends to buy tens to hundreds of these in the coming years. It's the first known viewing of a directed energy weapon demonstration by a sitting war secretary. So what are they? Directed energy weapons fire concentrated energy at the speed of light. And for years, intelligence officials working abroad have reported brain injuries known as Havana syndrome. The condition could be linked to directed energy weapons. And earlier this week, we spoke to Emmy Award-winning investigative journalist.
Really? They're calling it Havana with the H? Havana, ooh, na, na. Hey.
Catherine Herridge, and she says the domestic threat is very real. Take a look.
But I think this idea that there aren't domestic attacks and that they haven't targeted civilians is just not correct. It's not borne out by the evidence. And again, the trend that I'm seeing is that the cadence of attacks inside the United States, I think, has escalated. My information is only anecdotal, but I do believe that the 4 years under the Biden administration where we said there's nothing to see here, there's no novel weapon, there's no foreign adversary, I think this was a tremendous disservice and emboldened those who are behind it.
Joining us now, former Top Gun Navy fighter pilot Matthew Wiz Buckley and South Pole whistleblower Eric J. Hecker. Great to see you both. So, Eric, Catherine told us also that she has heard potentially there are these attacks that have happened outside the executive office building in Washington, D.C., which is right next to the White House. So for many people who don't understand what these weapons do and they're freaked out by them, how do they work?
You would say it's an extension of Tesla technology, the ability to move energy from point A to point B.
Well, hang on, Globies. I know one Globie Hawkins is probably still in the chat. We have to concede on these things that your science agrees and my science agrees and talks about in the mainstream we use every day. An extension of this Tesla technology. It could be the death ray technology, folks. Just think about it. We're thinking of it as a way more extreme, cooking and melting you, like all this extra shit. But what if this is it? What if different kinds, different levels? Maybe Havana syndrome, another mental thing, or just straight up boom. The obstruction that you've seen or the destruction that you've seen, and that we're going to show you here in real time, or in the real world. Examples here in my own home state too, in the panhandle of Oklahoma, of where they've done this stuff, sir, or people. So we have to agree on these things, folks. We have to concede and agree on these things. But, you know, it is what it is. Let's continue though, but like, that's interesting that he says that, right?
Technology, the ability to move energy. You would say it's an extension of Tesla technology, the ability to move energy from point A to.
I mean, just again, I'll just go ahead, denying the ether when it was on the elemental charts. But I think they wanted to monetize the ether and sell it, so that'd be the reason to move it. Enough money. We'll just kind of take it off here and say it's stupid. Like Pluto's not a planet, ether's not a thing. There's no planets, but you know what I'm saying. Like we're just gonna remove these things that don't make them money. I don't think Pluto made them money on the solar system.
Point B, without the conventional means of, warheads and things like that. A standard weapon delivers an explosion, but through a conventional means. It's a payload. So instead of having the conventional method of delivery, directed energy weapons just deliver that explosive force sometimes from point A to point B wirelessly. That's one method. Directed energy weapons is a very large umbrella term. So make no mistake, it's a varied arsenal.
And you can't see it.
See, I pointed that out. I'm glad he said that. It's a large umbrella of different things that do different things, that are on different frequency and spectrum and affect things. We could be in more spectrums than we realize, and they could be messing with those different versions of us. But anyway, that's a far out there thing for this live. We're going to get into what we observed here, though. And, they're just now fluent with it. All this military, they're coming out with it. There's just, it was, it's a lie, it's a lie, it's a lie. And now, look, this drone's on fire here in their depictions. They can deny, degrade and damage and destroy. And I use a drone, but think about it. Boats, cars, houses. So yeah, maybe you have an old beater that doesn't have the shut-off technology. But now they're just going to shut it off with this. And they've normalized you to accept it in movies where they use it a lot in video games like Fast and Furious, Need for Speed.
So it feels like it's almost impossible to defend against it. We'll get to that in a second. So Wiz, Secretary Hegseth shared that the first milestone test of the gold.
Secretary of War? What? He changed it from Department of Defense to Department of War? Like straight up to your face admitting they're not defending nothing. The world found out. Fuck it. I get to just name it. I get to just be open about it. The Department of War. The whole point is to not have war. The whole point is to be the best country in de-escalation. The whole point is repentance. Russia figured that out. Yet still has to have a military because we haven't figured it out. The kings of Babylon don't have enough. They have everything they could ever want, and it's not enough. They need what's left. And then they're going to off themselves because they can't handle it because it still won't be enough. They want more. The rockets aren't leaving. There's a dome up in the sky. They call it a glass wall in the Van Allen belts. And so we're just going to build bunkers and live like rats. This is weird.
Dome for America was a success, and that directed energy was harnessed to eliminate incoming threats. So obviously the Pentagon is wanting to buy these to use them against our adversaries. What do you think of the investment in these types of weapons?
It's definitely needed, Katie. Obviously, knocking down $2,000 drones with $1 million, $2 million SM-2, SM-6 missiles or Patriot missiles, just, your enemy can bankrupt you. So we have to deploy these lasers. They're on board Navy ships. They're on ground-based units now. So the economics are starting to level the battlefield here. These direct energy weapons are pretty high speed. They've been in use for a while. And as Eric said, they are a wide variety. But as you alluded to, the Havana syndrome, these have been used for a while, and they can be debilitating. I think the president kind of let it slip that we used some of the stuff during absolute resolve when we went in there to get Maduro. So these, it's a new level of warfare, but it's. So
the president admits we used it on Maduro. Surely they're using that and their teleportation to bust in on the guy in Venezuela. Come on, folks. They're using it on their own population right now. Just look up more of these type of side effects that could happen that they're not talking about, and see if that applies to people in these areas allegedly getting hit by it. There's radio everywhere. The radar has something.
Definitely leveling the playing field.
Yeah, he let it slip actually during our interview with him at the White House. So I'm glad we asked about that. And then he went on to call it discombobulator. But Eric, we don't want the discombobulator to be used domestically against Americans. How easy?
Then the news lady diverts to domestic. Holy shit, these are military guys.
Easy is it for someone who wants to do harm, whether it's someone from Russia or someone else, to use this kind of technology against Americans here at home?
Well, never mind. I thought first it sounded like here, then she diverted to Russia. Russia don't want to do nothing to civilians. But we got pedophiles that run the government. That's what he said.
Too easy. This is what one of the things that I discussed when I went to Washington, D.C. in June of 23 to testify in two SCIFs, one for the Senate Intelligence Committee and one for Arrow. And we discussed that these weapons seem to be in the hands of many factions that are operating without oversight. So this is an absolute threat to domestic America. All enemies, foreign and domestic. We have these factions running around without oversight.
So
there's personnel that are damaged. The Department of War lied about this for many years, saying they didn't know what was causing Havana syndrome. They said they had no idea. Nobody has this technology. Well, guess what? The Department of War this year stated, we possess directed energy weapons and we're scaling them up.
So
3 years.
I don't know if we're specifically doing Flat Earth. We might do it at the end. I do have boxes here on YouTube for guests with Video Ninja OBS plugin that they make. But no, we're talking about this topic right now. I do everything else on here. I do the live streams when I'm TikToking Flat Earth, but we also do other stuff. Check out the Right to Travel Act streams. I'm going to do the rest of them soon. Coming to a state near you, but not. They keep throwing in there domestic. We'll play the other clip since the Tennessee thing didn't come up. We'll see what else, just YouTubing it. I want to learn about direct energy weapons, the emissions, the mainstream, the normalization of it, and the normalization of the domestic threat by our own people using it against us for knowing too much. Alright, this is the real issue right here, that we cannot beat these people. Look what they're doing in Spokane right now. A very awake area, if you ask me. I bet the flock cameras survived, though. If I remember, remind me to check to see if the flock cameras survived in Spokane and the surrounding wildfire area. I need to write that down. Flock survive fires. Oh well. Alright. Anything else?
That's true. I mean, that is true. I mean, Catherine Harris talked about this, how they completely downplayed it. They acted like this wasn't happening, that we certainly didn't have this kind of technology. It's clear now that we do. And, you know, the Secretary of War is now saying, not only do we have it, but we're going to buy more of it. What do you think about them admitting that this is a technology that we're using?
Oh, Katie, I'm going to jump to a different highway real quick. A lot of folks have been talking about UAPs and UFOs recently, and everybody shrugging their shoulders in the government like, oh, we don't know what these things are. Katie, we're talking about energy right now. If you surround something in a field of energy, you'd be pretty amazed at what you can do with it. I'm fairly certain there ain't no little green men from Mars zipping around in some of these Tic Tacs or whatever. And you're probably 10 to 15 years from now, the government's going to come out and say, yeah, those were all our stuff, and we knew it all along. So what the things they're doing with energy right now, Katie, if you can dream it or actually have a nightmare about it, there's somebody in a room somewhere trying to make this thing or already made it.
Well, I've been having nightmares about drones, and now I certainly am going to have more nightmares about it.
I think the people, real quick, I think the people are aware of how deep this goes, and this, you know, that all the breakaway society with advanced weapons and things that they're willing to use, that they're threatening on us. You know, you got the Samson ops and all that stuff, but I think that's why America doesn't do anything, because of the size and the weapons and all that, and the amount of people. You know, we want to do something, but y'all countries are the size of the counties here in our country, and they're telling us to do something that y'all guys can do. And it's not that simple. We let it get too far here, I think. They're all laughing at us on TikTok and the internet. And that's why they separated and gave us a different version of TikTok. Because, yeah.
Directed energy. At least I can maybe see a drone coming for me, say a couple prayers, but I don't know. Well, thank you both for talking to us about it. We appreciate it. You can check out Eric's work at one.
To clarify, a different version of TikTok here in America, but let's continue. Weaponized.
Directed energy weapons and their effect on the brain, the mysterious neurological symptoms known as Havana syndrome, were primarily documented among American diplomats and intelligence personnel stationed overseas. But now, is the threat a domestic one too? And could symptoms be linked to directed energy attacks? Remember, directed energy weapons are invisible weapons that fire concentrated energy at.
I don't know. Oh no, it might be someone else doing it. I think it's the same lady. CIA, this is, again, whistleblowers. And
you don't know what an AI work management platform is?
Folks.
Yikes. Here's 3 new AI-powered changes.
3 people dying of heart attacks within 50 yards of each other at any event ever in the history of the world has never happened. So I'm very curious about this.
At the same time, yeah.
I know that particular element or unit of our armed forces has a weapon. It's called an agitation weapon. It is a directed energy weapon, backpack size. We just learned a lot about that from the invasion down in Venezuela, the discombobulator that the president called it, the discombobulator weapon. So I started investigating the source, the use, who in our government has the agitation weapon, and what its uses were. I learned that one of its uses was it can make people go nuts in a crowd in a color revolution.
Go nuts in what way?
A 3-star general, retired from SOCOM, that I interviewed.
Special Operations Command.
Correct. Told me, yes, that weapon exists. And I quote, "With it, we can stop your heart. We can make you shit your pants. But I wouldn't need that weapon to start January 6th. I would just need 4 or 5 of my best men." That's the exact quote.
Fun.
I interviewed members of that unit about the weapon. I have interviewed former Secretary of the Army about the weapon. All have verified its existence and its quote-unquote prolific use within our special operators community. And I started looking for backpacks in the crowd. I know what the shape is. I know what the design is. I've interviewed 2 people that have participated in the design of that weapon. One of them's a doctor. The other one is a special.
Now we got globe trolls in the chat. This is like when we get the scientists that measured, that observed the dome, that did all this, that says the moon's not solid, it's plasma, and then being interviewed and you're watching the interview, or Michikaki saying, we lied to you, or people telling you how airplanes work because they either designed it or interviewed all the people that designed it. And in my case, I read interviews or interviewed people that designed it. And, you know, not all of them are a majority of big ones like maybe he did, but I interviewed people that designed these parts.
Operator who have essentially assisted DARPA in the design of the how to make it field worthy out in the field. And so I started looking for it in the crowd. Me and my team, we're looking at backpacks everywhere. Well, one of the most interesting backpacks that day was worn by a small handful of Capitol Police officers that were up on the upper terrace that early on, before the crowd had gotten violent, started launching less lethals into the crowd. And they were wearing, so they've got their black uniforms on, but they've got military colored backpacks on. So we start zooming in on them in the cameras, and we got totally distracted about the looking for a directed energy weapon, because what we found is that this team of less lethal officers were illegally firing into the crowd. They were firing their weapons against policy, against the law, against their own training. In fact, some of them were training officers in the use of less lethal, and they were using them in what's called a criminally negligent manner.
So when I tell you the cops are all compromised, that the use of force training and less lethal training is bogus, and they're all trained with IDF to make up these terms or to appear that they have certification in these terms. But again, less lethals, breaking the law. What do you think of this? Are you still going to ignore and go back to work tomorrow, no matter what we keep showing you? Holy shit. But, dude, if you see what it's like here in these states, especially Spokane right now, you wouldn't be, but I need to pay for the house. No, they can flatten your house with this laser weapon, and they're doing it to people across the country. So what's that going to do? You're going to go back to work to pay for grass? Because you won't be able to buy a new house, and insurance ain't going to cover it.
Shooting people in the head, in the crowd, in the face, criminally negligent manner. Shooting people in the head, in the crowd, in the face. They were shooting their own officers in the back of their helmets. Oof. On the front line. You could see the pepper pellets go explode off the back of their helmets.
Base 44 super agent is the...
Wow, folks, I got a stupid commercial. But that's crazy. Witness.
We decided to explode off the back of their helmets. So we decided to do a story on the use of less lethal. Got distracted from the directed energy weapon story. And because we found all this fresh video, and so we needed to identify these officers. So we're going down the line. We identify 1, 2, 3, 4. And then there was one officer we couldn't identify. To be honest with you, we didn't know if it was a male or a female. But this officer was firing the pepper ball gun that was hitting people in the head. It's a point blank range, by the way. Very close on. These were not misfires. And I have a source, one of my earliest sources at Capitol Police on January 6th investigation was a CDU officer, Civil Disturbance Unit of the Capitol Police. And the less lethal team is part of CDU. So I called my source, and I then sent him a photograph, still shot of this officer. And he immediately went, oh, yeah, that's Shawnee Kirkhoff. I said, well, who's Shawnee Kirkhoff? He said, oh, she's a great cop. He said it was she was, always a good hang. She was fun to be around. She was a good friend, but it was kind of weird. He said when she left the Capitol Police about 6 months after January 6th. And when she left, she wiped her social media out. She changed her phone numbers and her email, and we all lost contact with her. We were friends. We lost contact with her. And he said, we heard that she might have went to one of the 3-letter agencies.
Now, clearly, his source is lying. But still, that's weird. That should all happen, but, he's playing ignorantly. Oh, that's weird. Something like lone wolf thing. She got caught. Lone wolf. We didn't order her to do it.
He said maybe it was defense intelligence or something. But anyway, that's what we heard. And I went, oh, okay. So now I have a name, right? And so I start looking for this name. Well, turns out Ms. Kirkhoff was the first person to ever testify in the very first January 6th trial. The trial of Guy Reffitt in the summer of 22. She's the first person to testify in the very first trial. And she testifies as a less lethal officer who fired at this individual that was on trial at that time. And this is what she said, and this is what happened in the transcripts. The first thing before she faced direct examination from the government is the judge went to a sidebar and told both of the attorneys, said, now you know that there's some under seal aspects about this first witness. Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. Be careful when you're questioning. Oh, I thought that was interesting. And so then direct examination starts, and the prosecution asks her name, spell your name, go through the whole process that they typically do. And one of his first questions was, of course, where are you employed now? And she said, I still work for the government. He goes, oh, you're no longer with Capitol Police. She said, no, I left Capitol Police about 6 months after January 6th. He said, did you leave under good circumstances? Oh, yes, very good circumstances. In fact, I had already applied for my current position in the government before January 6th. Okay. That's interesting.
No, they set it up to move. You do this, you get the job.
Then it's time for cross-examination. The judge hits the button again, calls another sidebar, and he says to the defense attorney, don't you go waving Miss Kirkhoff's 302s around this courtroom. That's the FBI investigation forms. That's what a FBI 302 is. And now I'm like, my radar's pinging off the charts. So I have to know who this person is. So I have sources at ODNI. And that's how this whole element of the story comes into it, is that I took the information that I had and I received assistance from ODNI that helped me identify her as a current CIA employee.
Now, a lot of people hesitate before getting traditional therapies for cholesterol health. They have some ingredients that is a dose that does it, and they're good. Dose that's watching our YouTube.
All right, now let's get to Facebook.
We, the people, have a First Amendment right to record officers on duty, anything.
Are we living in the end times? Let's look at the Bible. The entire world focused on.
There we go. Coming up here, and which made me want to do this video. Within my algorithm for a full minute. This is other examples. What is that? Come on, bro. That's an energy weapon trying to spark the neighborhood, folks. So again, we've had fire departments confirm it in California when Obama was in, you know, on InfoWars, when they had that stuff in California before in Oregon. Now they had the recent stuff. This is before the Palisades, though. The recent stuff in the Palisades, we had confirmation of witnesses from professionals too. So if you're a fire department, this is, and anywhere in America right now, this is your concern. You need to watch these spots like power poles, the metal on it, the energy there. Something like that ignites up parts of that neighborhood and goes through and ignites houses. And we'll put that on the phone. This is an energy weapon. Next.
There's over 80 million Americans who do not file, and their income is above the minimum exempt amount, according to the IRS itself. So you don't file 1040 form, you fall off the radar. And it does not matter that your boss sent a W-2 form about what you made to the IRS. The IRS doesn't use those forms. They're so incompetent, they can't even keep up with filers. So non-filers are wholesale left alone. There's over...
If you like old Bible stuff,
there's over 80 million...
If you like old Bible stuff, energy, harmonics, any of that stuff, creation...
The jig is up.
If you like old Bible stuff, energy,
the jig is...
If you are...
Long ago, the Tartarian Empire...
The easiest ways to...
Well, Whataburger's doing something really cool. So Whataburger is celebrating their 76th birthday.
Encourage everyone out there watching today to change their withholding if they haven't already done so, because if you change your withholding, then you will get an automatic real wage increase, be it on a weekly or a monthly basis, and you will be able to keep more of your money this calendar year. I want to encourage everyone.
We're seeing the snowball effect now. It's definitely watching it.
It's changing, and we can't go in there and try to change the law no, it's no longer. I mean, let's cut off the head of the snake. I mean, we've been hitting it with a stick so long. Now we have to cut off the head of the snake, and the head of the snake comes with term limits. And I think that's where it comes from. And term limits.
Check out this 22-inch Slurpee cup from 7-Eleven that even fits perfectly in my cup holder, and somehow I can still hold it with one hand. 7-Eleven is celebrating Slurpee's 60th birthday with these giant 93-ounce.
You mean the 7-Eleven with Go Yum ice cream? Go Yum, Go Yum, Go Yum. I hear the train coming. Oh yeah, all y'all that said vaccine wasn't poison. Here you go. Everybody's got it now. The water, the food. I don't know when. I hear the train coming.
There's a version of you that survived. The one who did whatever it took.
This massive build.
Alright, here we go. Look. Oh, y'all, I gotta go back to work to pay the bills. Nigga, we're in the middle of war right now, and they're flattening our homes. Like Lebanon. The Jews are doing this. The trees are fine. This is cedar and shit. We own nothing. They own all your stuff. No flattening. Next.
You ever seen a movie?
We gotta hit.
You ever seen a movie where a rat was a bad guy?
No.
Rats in all media, they're always lovable. Did you know this?
No, I noticed it. Yeah, they're kind of, they're cute little things until they get into your house.
Do you have any? Guess as to why?
No.
Movies are written by who?
Writers.
Are they Laotian?
I don't know.
They're not. You ever seen a movie where...
Jew. That's crazy.
Don't say amen when you pray or you'll invoke an Egyptian sun god. It's...
You're getting me off topic. The algorithm's bonkers right now. Bam. Look at the wood that's... Never mind.
You can hear him.
Oh, he's talking in this one. Let's see.
This is people's gas lines. Still going. Here.
Yeah, all that
This one's really raging.
gas and all this stuff. And they
You can hear him.
quick. The side effects of waking up in a world too controlled by demons.
This is people's gas lines.
That was the one they just lit. Somebody just lit 2 more across the way. There's 2 more plumes of smoke coming up over there now.
Of course, you got arsons along with energy weapons. It's not all energy weapons. Don't
Yeah,
try to
lightning
get me in a
strikes.
straw, man.
Wait
But
till the
that's part of
mainstream
it.
media gets a hold of it. First one.
Come on, folks. And then it just starts.
Water shortages could be the biggest mass mortality event the world has ever seen.
Mm-hmm. You're learning so many important things, and I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're learning so many important things,
This is how I feel right now, dog. We gotta get y'all through.
and I'm so proud of you.
$150K likes. That must mean that enough of us tested and seen that shit work, cuz I need to get that shit on my little private plate. 214944. Yeah. Huh. Since it now picks me with my private plates and no problems, I'm gonna do this. Just holy shit. Alright, 214944. I just gotta look that up. 214944. Reflect to paint. Does it really slip past flock cameras? LOL. Oh shit. Night vision sensor technology, infrared illumination, let's see. Enhanced legibility testing demonstrates that applying restore reflective spray painted light spot actually makes the character sharper and easier to read. So I'm gonna say for my research and debunk channel, any realistic options? that would work to warn police with my radio station. We say it like that, right? But the police, no. What does it do with private plate like mine from Amazon? Don't care, I'll tell it, they are dead. No, just a white plate with private or exempt in black. No cover like that. Amazon. Even though I went all around and went everywhere. Oh, fictitious flag. I don't know if I'm gonna make it to the game this year, cause even though we got the right to travel act, right? It's about to be different. Giggity goo. We got more states coming soon. Anyway, what do we do here? Realistically, not high, though rare sovereigns in every county get stopped, and they use the roads like anyone else. Sheriffs said every county nationwide. Let's see what that says. Realistically, there we go. Reality of policing and Hollywood style hype, two different things. Exactly. No priority equipment or registration violation. If they see it, don't pull it over. Reality, officers will not drop an active burglary call or speeding to chase down and track. So that's why the major towns, the metros, don't give a shit. Whoever patrol car happens to be sitting near that intersection behind that car at a red light, they will do it. It's an easy win for a ticket. Which I'll take a ticket any day. But yeah, I beat it and all that. I understand. And I also won on about. I'm winning about the tow thing too, because towing's too much. It's just a violation. I mean, a ticket at most. And I can beat the ticket. Letting in with traffic. They're understaffed nationwide. Thousands of drivers with expired tags, missing plates, or fake private plates drive past busy cops every day. They're already swamped with higher priority calls. That's what we get in. I swear to God. So yeah. Anyway, we just want to divert real fast. So I don't know if that'll work.
Has anybody heard of a company called Flock Safety? Flock Safety. They're all over city and they're just everywhere now.
Speaking out against a corrupt government is a lot like being afraid of the dark. The more you go out into it, the more you realize pretty much everything out there is more afraid of you than you are of them.
Think about that for a second. That's true. The bears, the fucking...
So today we're going to hit on these fires in Washington. Looks like the Palisades, looks like Lahaina. I know. You know, the government and electric companies are notorious for burning down cities. And we're going to talk about that today.
The
so someone will probably say it's
company are in on the joke. So hold on, folks. It's not letting me get the link here for the radio station. Real quick, stick with me. Oh shit! Fuck, it's doing this. thing again where it acts like it has no internet just because I'm moving inch away. Alright. Oh, 1 second. Remote desktop, so then we download it with the Facebook to MP3, put it in the radio station playlist, and then you guys can hear it here in just a second. Actually, I'll put it in the next. G, O, V, and, nope, and symbol, space, and electric co-burning cities. Fuck the electric company. 4 stars. Oh shit. Enter. Alright folks, there it is.
Climate change, but let's read this one. Forest fire as a military weapon. U.S. Department of Agriculture. So let's just say the government didn't do it, but a smart meter did it. Do you see how that house is burned right here, but these plants are all perfectly green? And those trees? That's because when smart meters catch on fire, that's exactly what they look like. See all these? All over the country. 90 million smart meters across the country. And it just so happens the city that burned was a smart city, with grids, with smart meters, and everything interconnected from the electric company.
We told you how many people, for how many generations said no, that this is poison and bad? Oh, now you're waking up. Look at the comments. Now a lot of these people, no offense, laughed at us, but we appreciate y'all joining. We need you, but damn, we need to get to these other people. And you need to tell your experience and how I laughed and I don't know what sealed the deal to admitting it. Bye.
And if you remember all those fires in California, Palisades lawsuit claims that faulty PG&E smart meters started their house fires. Then someone might say, well, I work for the electric company. They would never do that. Former meter reader testifies at California Public Utilities Commission, Santa Rosa, California.
The meter readers are exposing this shit, bro. The fire departments have exposed it out there.
2012, smart meters cause fires. And let's just show one of the smart meters catching on fire and then the whole house burning down. Yeah, it's interesting that this was kind of wiped off the internet. You know, when you try to type in smart meter fires, it'll say, those don't happen. Here's the evidence. And this is the evidence that gets wiped off the internet so people aren't aware, so that they can blame climate change, and the government can keep setting up 15-minute cities, and the electric companies can keep putting out smart meters. And if you do have a smart meter on your house, get an analog meter. You need to opt out. If enough people opted out, guess what? They can't do this and they can't keep burning down every city across the nation and then calling it climate change and writing books about climate change. Yada, yada, yada. Love you all. And the smart meters are also in Canada too, just so you're aware, and they make your bill 4 times the price. So today we're going to hit on these fires in Washington. Looks like the palace.
So literally saying 4 times the, holy crap, 4 times the price for destruction.
How to make $100 at the junkyard in 5 minutes. Find a 2001 Mercedes S430. You are after the sun visor set. Very easy to remove. There are 2 Torx screws you have to take off and you're done. Make sure you get both sides. We pay about $7 each for these, and the set will sell for about $150. Click the link in my bio to join the free group. How to make $100.
Wow. Wow. Hang on, bootlicker in the chat. But for the confused, trees wet, ground dry. Dumbass. Spokane, Washington, a cedar forest. What the fuck is going on? Is pine, grassland, shrub steppe, however. Let's see what Google AI says real fast. Yeah, bullshit. Cedars don't, though. What other trees should be like cedars? Flammable oils. Okay. Ones in the area of Washington fires. No, the ones that shouldn't resist. Damn it. Okay, these are next to homes, so we should see them. Getting it? So, don't know about you, but just from the naked eye, it looks like shit I would see around the neighborhood like that, folks. Number one hazard near homes. Again, junipers, ornamental junipers, which is what we have. All over Washington neighborhoods is privacy hedges. We have cedar with blueberry, they say, or juniper. I don't know the difference here, but green, they flame up on the campfire. Fresh cut, right? So, in every or most neighborhoods or around these houses, landscape should be signs of them. But again, like California recently, 2012, and other places, same melted cars or power lines and smart meters again. I'll just go ahead and skip what it's mansplaining, or whatever you can call it, it's rambling. They're actually junipers, they act exactly like fuel bombs. Fuck, that's what happened. Look, they're admitting it happened. The blueberry cedars of Jupiter. Confusing people don't know what they call it cedars. But we have them too. I don't know. Well, we got blueberries. I don't know what that is. So packed with a little amber zone. Like, yeah, that doesn't explain cars on the roadside, though. Not a lot of garage and so there you go. Hard up the aluminum. But steel actually needs to be harder than that. Never mind. I don't know, maybe that is the case, but no. Manufacturing defects. Yeah, right. Oh, no shit. I think we went through this before. Well, this was California. I thought this one's bringing up the Nevada event. I'm strawmanning it, putting words in his mouth. Anyway, I wanted just to scroll and show this evidence.
Completely burned all the way. Power pole. It's completely burned all the way through.
But yet the wood's still good. I just went through it. Similar to lightning through a tree.
Way through. All the way down into the ground. There ain't nothing left but that metal holding it up. I shouldn't even be here right now. I could fall at any minute. Power pole.
Oh, you're good. This is wild, and this is intentional, folks. Tune in, walk in, check out my, I don't know. I'll close the content. This is getting old. This is real shit.
This is right now, and this is not Maui. This is Washington. It's crazy how all these trees are standing, but the rims of the cars are melting. We've seen this before. But just wait until I show you what the news was saying not too long ago. So 60,000 people evacuated. 600 buildings burned down so far. It looks like the apocalypse over there. I mean, just everything. We also know there's fires happening all over the world right now. So I'm going to throw some stuff up on the screen for you to look at with me. We have this picture right here of these rims melting and trees standing right beside. Now, we've already gone over all this and certain temperatures and stuff. I think everyone's caught up to speed now. Now, in the United States, we've already seen over 1,000 wildfires this year. And again, this is something recent, the last year or two, because we didn't usually see fires this extreme all the time, every day, every week, 5 years ago. But completely unrelated, the news actually posted a crazy story I think we should look at. It's completely unrelated to all this fire right now. But real quick, right before we get into that, we are doing a giveaway, a guitar, a bunch of other stuff, and it's free to enter the raffle. So if you want information about this giveaway or this Patreon raffle, just comment raffle in the comments and I'll reply with a link telling you more information. You can also find information about our new conspiracy book club where I'm taking photocopies of antique books and sending it to you physically every month. Okay, now check this out. This is insane. You remember when they used to say that this thing right behind me was just some kind of theory, you know? Well, check this out. By the way, again, it's completely unrelated, not relevant, totally different subject than what's happening in Washington right now.
It's got a live demonstration of directed energy weapons. He says the Pentagon intends to buy tens to hundreds of these in the coming years. It's the first known viewing of a directed energy weapon demonstration by a sitting war secretary. So what are they? Directed energy weapons fire concentrated energy at the speed of light, and for years, intelligence officials working abroad have reported brain injuries known as Havana syndrome. The condition could be linked to directed energy weapons. Earlier this week, we spoke to Emmy Award-winning investigative journalist.
Oh, it's like Mountain Dew. That's pretty insane, is it not? Because they told us that whole thing didn't exist and now they're putting it on the news. I wonder why, by the way. And also completely unrelated, again, not relevant to what's happening right now. They actually just in Washington blocked a new data center just recently. Not relevant. This is right now, and this is not Maui. This is Washington. It's crazy.
Wait. How come when I ask ChatGPT about Harold Rosenthal, it gives me a bunch of anti-Semitic conspiracy warnings?
Harold Wallace Rosenthal was a Jewish man, born in 1947, who served as a legislative assistant on Middle East policy for a US senator. At one point, he agreed to an interview with a man named Walter White in 1976, which to many was eye-opening, to say the least.
So Heisenberg interviewed him?
Different Walter White, fat man. In this interview, Rosenthal made many statements on Jewish belief and power, and even went into what he thought of non-Jews.
What did he say?
Well, the interview was long, but I'll give you the cliff notes. He stated that we Jews were amazed at how easy Christian America had fallen into their hands, and that the Jews absolutely control the media. Later in the interview, he elaborated, stating, "We have it all under such control that no one, or nobody can, unless it is done through our media control. Who has in control of the mass media in the 20th century? Chairman of ABC, Leonard Goldinson, President of CBS, James H. Rosenfield, Chairman of RCS, David Sarnoff, Chief Executive of NBC, Fred Silverman, President of PBS, Lawrence Grossman, Chief Editor of US News and World Report, Marvin Stone, Chief Executive of Dow Jones, Warren H. Phillips, Chief Editor of Newsweek Leicester, Bernstein, President of TV Guide, Walter Annenberg, President of New York Times, Sulzberger Family, TV Program Producer, Norman Lear. These and more, all are Jews. We have it sewn up. We have affected your churches completely, and we now control the school system in the United States. It is a reality that we have complete control of organized Christianity almost anywhere, completely."
And what did he say about politics?
He stated that no one in the past 3 decades has achieved political power without Jewish approval, and that all foreign policy was a, quote, Zionist communist policy from beginning to end. He went on to say that the Jews serve a role on both sides of every issue until confusion reigns. And with their eyes fixed on the issue, they fail to see who is behind it. Later in the interview, he would go on to claim that the Jews control the United Nations.
So every single time is literally every single time, huh?
He continued with a quote, "The Jewish mind pits every ethnic group against the other. The blood of the masses will flow as we wait for our day of world victory. The Jews' conquest of the world was almost complete thanks to Christian stupidity."
Different ethnic groups?
Yep, and he had some, shall I say, choice words when it came to his opinion on black people, which I'm not going to repeat, as it will be a miracle if this video stays up as is. He even said, quote, "There will be a forced class warfare here in the United States, and many will be liquidated. You will unquestionably be among them. The Jews will not be harmed. I'm not boasting. I'm giving you the facts. And it is too late for your Christian followers to put up a defense. That time has long passed. Long, long ago. We had to become the aggressors. That is undoubtedly one of our great purposes in life. We are aggressors because you stole your pretend religious beliefs from our Talmud."
And the lobbying?
He claimed that the politicians in Washington were gullible and not bright, and that the Jewish lobbyist used them to do their bidding and send millions in taxpayer dollars to Israel. That figure is now in the billions. He continued saying, quote, "Some of the money is even returned to the United States and spent on Zionist propaganda efforts, much of it through the B'nai B'rith and the Conference of Jewish Organizations and the World Jewish Congress. The Jewish Agency is a funding arm, a sort of body of B'nai B'rith officials. There is nothing wrong with sending sending American dollars to Israel tax-free, so long as we are smart enough to get away with it.
So he just admitted this?
Yep, and it gets worse. He stated that during Christ's time, Jews were seeking a material earthly kingdom, but Christ offered them a spiritual one, which is why they rejected him and had him crucified. He even shared the sentiments that all of the Gentiles were his enemies.
What about the name changes?
He stated that the Jewish people were intelligent and that if it benefited them to change their name, they would do it. This checks out as almost every single Israeli prime minister has changed their name.
What about all that money?
He literally stated that money is more important than morality and that they can accomplish anything with money. I guess that explains AIPAC and Miriam Adelson's $200 million donation to Trump. He also said that Jews never get rich off of each other and seek to get the labor and wealth of others. He would later state, prior to 1968, the gullible goy could take a $1 Federal Reserve note into any bank in America and redeem it for $1, which was by law a coin containing 412 1/2 grains of 90% silver. Up until 1933, one could have redeemed the same note for a coin of 25 4/5 grains of 90% gold. All we do is give the goy more non-redeemable notes or copper slugs, but we never give them the gold and silver, only more paper.
Okay, but what was the craziest thing he said?
He literally said, and I quote, "Most Jews don't like to admit it, but our God is Lucifer," and later elaborated saying, "To our God, we are the chosen ones."
Come again?
This interview is quite possibly the most insane thing I've ever read, and I encourage you all to look it up for yourself. It will come up if you Google Harold Wallace Rosenthal Internet Archive. Later that year, Mr. Rosenthal would go on to be assassinated in a terrorist attack in Istanbul. Perhaps he said too much, especially since the group responsible received funding from Soviet Marxist groups, and we all know what that really means.
It is insane to think someone like this influenced the American government and its foreign policy.
The even crazier thing is that this was in the 70s. Imagine how much more entrenched they are now. All of this being said, it is important to realize that not every single Jewish person is plotting the destruction of the country. However, the number of them that are is alarming.
Are you noticing yet? Follow the Griffin Intelligence Agency for more. Merchant Bio, go check it out!
Here's another unlawful stop. See what they want now.
Hello, I'm Officer Stanfield, Rexburg Police Department. Reason for the stop is your fictitious plate.
That's not fictitious. It's actually been deregistered. Okay. It's private. There's all the...
I just need your registration,
That's
license.
It.
I need her license.
That's it.
I'm not talking to you. I need her license, the registration, and the insurance for the vehicle.
Still trying to hand it to you.
This is the registration?
Yep, and the insurance.
Okay.
Passport.
I need a driver's license.
She doesn't have a driver's license. She's traveling. This is a private conveyance.
I don't do this.
Don't do what?
I don't do the whole sovereign citizen thing.
It's not a sovereign citizen thing. It's a private conveyance. That's why there's no Idaho plate.
Stop. In Idaho, you need to have a license to drive on the public roads.
I'm not in the state of Idaho. I'm in the territory of Idaho. Can you please write your ticket? We'll be happy to accept any ticket you want.
Okay. That's 24. Can I get another?
You're not in any danger here.
I know.
I deal with these all the time.
And you should just register your vehicle and get a license.
Right, I should actually give my property away to the state, right? That's what happens. You don't understand that. You're giving your property to the state. That's why you have to pay them a fee every year.
Yeah, I mean...
This is mine. I own it.
Okay.
I don't pay anybody to travel on the roadways my taxes already paid for. Supreme Court's already ruled on that, but they don't teach you guys that because they want you out here trying to take money from people and write citations. Do you know where those go, your citations?
To the office in Rexburg Police Department.
Yeah, it's not what happens with them. What they do is they unlawfully put those debts against people.
Okay.
And then they throw people in jail for admiralty crimes when there is no common law violation. You have to have a victim to have a crime under the common law. They don't teach you that. They want you guys out here victimizing your fellow Americans, pretending like we're criminals because we're traveling out here without some corporate state's license plate on our own personal conveyances.
So why do you have it insured?
Because I don't want to have anybody else lose their property if somebody that's operating my conveyance accidentally runs into them. I'm a law-abiding man. I'm not going to rob anybody of something.
You can get insurance without getting it registered?
I appreciate you getting your insurance for that.
People tell me you can do that.
I'm not required to have insurance either, by the way. But I do carry it because I'm responsible.
Thank you.
This is 5 million views. I don't even think they give him the ticket. Maybe he does, but they let him go, and that's the appropriate response. All right, sir. If you want to give me a ticket and generate revenue, we're fine. I'll be able to take the ticket. I just got to get to the doctor. I got to get to where I'm going. As soon as I get to football, I'm responsible. I'm a safe driver. Straight down, straight back.
So the Hartford is the deregistration? Is that
The Hartford's the insurance.
okay? So
And this is the bond for the vehicle. The law says it has to be bonded. So that's the bond, the A-Cord certificate.
175 even 22. Thanks. Okay.
If you'd like to write me a ticket, please do so. Just make it out to that address. I'll accept it.
You would probably think I'm not on your side on this. I'm probably one of the more libertarian officers. Okay, I believe in the Constitution. I believe the government should not have any corporate hold on people.
Yeah,
I agree with that. But per Idaho statute, to travel on the public roadway, you need to have registration and a license.
Okay, so let me explain something if you don't mind. Okay? Do you have a passport? In fact, open that passport up if you'd like to the back, or wherever it says citizen/national. It's on there. I can find it for you if you'd like. But this tells you right here that there's two statuses. You're a U.S. citizen, a 14th Amendment U.S. citizen. You have a driver's license. You're required to have one because you work for the government.
Yes.
Unless I'm hauling people or products, I'm not engaged in commerce. Only people engaged in commerce on these highways have to have driver's licenses. That's who the code applies to. It does not apply to regular Americans. Unless I have an autograph with something on it like a driver's license, which I don't have. I'm not required to have one. Now, every time you write a ticket, and you can look this up if you want to see if I'm full of shit, you can look it up and you'll find none of those tickets ever go to court. Why? Because the attorneys know I know what the fuck they're doing. Okay. These guys are sending you out here to risk your life so that they can have a steady stream of victims in these bullshit courts. How do you feel about that?
I don't like it.
That would piss me off too. I have a bachelor's in criminal justice. I didn't go to school for that bullshit so that some fucking dirtbag attorney can take my mom, me, or anybody else and drag them through their courts for revenue. That's bullshit.
Bro. I had a sheriff, actually it was an under sheriff in a neighboring county, and they overturned the Chevron. A few months go by, nothing happened. I call around. I'm like, I'm just letting people, the public know to click on the phone. If there's somebody that just relay a message, maybe I might send something in writing. To see if I can get anybody to respond and their opinion real fast on the Chevron thing. I don't know what that is. All right, well, you might have, it might affect the way that y'all do things against the American people. I'm not sure exactly, but it seems to be like the mainstream news said we're going back to a pre-Civil War style common law. That's extreme. I don't think it'll ever be like that, but something might change with a trickle-down effect in police training. All right. On Sunday, you heard that, and it's like, oh, our lawyers are looking into it. I know that. Something's changed. We don't know exactly what. I do know you don't need a license. He brought it up. Never brought it up. I seen the case law, and then blah, 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 he types this versus this. Supreme Court ruled. And I'm like, what? That's when I realized this was some real shit. When an undersheriff told me on the phone that this shit was real. The judges are tripping. They're all due for, and I don't even want to get into it.
Once guys like you start standing.
But this cop, you don't have to do nothing but say, hey, I'm just advocating that we don't go after these people, these low-level violations, because they're already broke and down bad as it is, and the world's getting pretty weird, that we need to focus in on some of the more extreme stuff. Maybe the reckless driving, the murderers, the trafficking, the Epstein files, the Epstein Transparency Act.
Standing up and telling them, hey, you know what? Go fuck yourself. I'm here to protect and serve. I'm not here to do that.
Even my chief, you could ask my chief. I rarely write tickets.
I love you, bro. I'm not kidding you. I do. If that's the way you feel, let me shake your hand. I'm not kidding you.
I'm not somebody who...
These are the cops that we need to band together countrywide. Hey, look. Very minimum. I believe this is real. I believe that this is extreme, that I'm sitting here for hours having to argue with somebody on the side of the road. and go to jail. For no reason, jail and everything else. Which is ridiculous. It's a waste of taxpayer dollars. It's a waste of time. And he's a libertarian cop in uniform on the side of the road, rarely doing it. But he mentioned something, probably on the radio, and one of the other guys was like, get him. You know, he probably wouldn't have gave two craps if he would have known this guy had his stuff together. He probably hadn't really seen it that much, other than what he was told, other than what they, you know, the live PD stuff way back. And that's part of why they got canceled, because people were actually beating the case or getting dismissed and not charged. And they were just making a mockery of what was really going on. And they couldn't reveal. Now, it made more people look into it. And now it's viral. 5 million views. And counting.
Goes out and collects revenue for the state. That's not what I do. If somebody's putting somebody in danger, I'm more inclined to write a ticket. You know what I mean?
But he's admitting, like other cops admit, and like the law and even policy says, this is all officer discretion. It's not mandated that this is what you have to do because it's in the book. I mean, if you're generating revenue, and then most county or most states have a cap on how much you can do with traffic infractions, and towns across America go over it all the time, and they have to shut the whole department down for that alone. They get suspended or shut down, like shut down temporarily or for a while or however it goes, but that's what happens. And so it is officer discretion, it's department discretion. You're ordering them to, you're giving them incentives for the ones that write the most tickets and generate the most revenues. Other cops have spoken out on that, and the quotas and everything. They're real. This isn't a debate anymore. There's no red herring, deflection words, avoidance terms that y'all guys can use to avoid the reality of that. It's been confirmed by your own people, and it's been confirmed countrywide by the policing for profit cases, in which, first off, there's a legal amount. That's ridiculous. Shouldn't be money. Traffic infractions should be a warning. And then if you escalate the situation, maybe jail for obstruction. But obstruction's got to be a physical act. So if something physical happens, or you speed away, or if you see drugs or they're smoking weed still while you're up at the window, or it smells like weed, yeah, I was just going to tell you to slow down then, but it reeks like weed. Even though smell, case law, smell's not enough. But you get what I'm saying. You witness something else, fine, but if not, let the guy go. Just tell him to slow down from the traffic infraction. If it's not reckless. Even if it is like, reckless driving. Some countries don't have reckless driving. Some states or counties even used to not have it because they viewed it as like a what if you wreck into somebody, but yet people still wreck into each other. And sometimes you got to get somewhere or get around somebody, either pass somebody or hurry to the hospital, and you ain't got time for it. So in Germany, the way I was taught in school, I don't remember what teacher it was, but their license was stricter, and it was normal for a car or a bike to weave through traffic twice the speed and not get stopped all the time like here in America. You know, even outside the Autobahn, right? Even outside of that, so that's what's going on. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know what that just made me forget what I'm saying.
That's what I would do too. You're protecting and serving. You know your job.
To educate.
And that's what I do.
So.
And I take veterans out all the time. That's what I do. I actually have a ministry that serves veterans, first responders, and law enforcement who are injured in the line of duty. I take them out in the woods. I help them with PTSD. I help them recover. I help them get better. That's what I'm about. And I'm also about educating all of you guys, because you guys kill, not you, officers kill 1,200 people a year, and over 200 or something like that every 3 years die. And when people wake up and realize, it's literally the Satanists, just like it says in Revelation. The souls of men are bought and sold. How is that? It's through anything with your autograph. It's commercial. That's how they're doing it.
Okay. So, what her name is?
Donetta.
Donetta, is she?
That's my mother.
Your mother, okay.
Yep.
So, what I'll do, I'll write a written warning, okay, for just the registration, okay? I'm going to implore you to get the vehicle registered, okay?
You have got to see this because you wouldn't believe it unless you saw it with your own eyes. We've got a huge problem with these forest fires that are taking place all over the world right now. Because these fires are only burning points that are contacted with metal. And notice how everything is burnt to white ash except for the trees. And you see how this fire looks more like lava dripping from this metal cable? They're taking us out. And it's only a matter of time before they turn on those 5G towers and all of the metal we've been ingesting and inhaling gets put to work.
Hello.
You have got to see this because you wouldn't believe it unless you saw it with your own eyes. We've got a huge problem with these forest fires that are taking place all over the world right now. Because these fires are only burning points that are contacted with metal. And notice how everything is burnt to white ash except for the trees. And you see how this fire looks more like lava dripping from this metal cable? They're taking us out. And it's only a matter of time before they turn on those 5G towers.
That looks like
towers. Actually, and all of the metal we...
What the fuck? It probably is both.
These artifacts here are super high. They showed ayahuasca, mushrooms, and they're the grooviest alien artifacts. The grooviest. All right, so let's go.
I would not want to offend them by coming in there sober.
This? Okay. Whoa, you can feel that energy. Can you feel it blasting at you?
There's a couple things blasting me right now. ¿Está bien si yo torco? Sí, sí, sí. This looks like a mummy. Well, Alex, you know how they said some will like call out to you? What the fuck? This is one of the strangest experiences of my strange life. I want to break it. This spins. That's spinning on it. Watch, I barely touch it. It moves. I just gotta... I'm telling you.
Hold on, the radio's
That ain't the... It moves on its own. It's got a little catch to it. Right here. See it? Amigo, se mueve su mismo aquí.
Sí, parece que tiene magnetismo la pieza.
Este es por tiempo. That's a magnetic clock of some kind. I know what the fuck that is. A lot of people think this is writing. I think it's some type of circuit board. It probably is both. It's kind of like you have encrypted data, which is data that contains very valuable information. You can't tell because it's encrypted. The information itself does something. When you take that data and put it into a computer, it becomes a computer system that's alive. If we have that technology today, this is the same type technology. It's just a lot older, and they could make it without any tools. But the clocks. The Mayans had 3 clocks, a solar clock, an earth clock. This is what's kind of crazy to me. Clocks they had were round, and they were kind of spheroid. They weren't perfect, and they would spin inside of each other like that, and then where they would meet in the middle would be another time. First thing I see is damn 2 clocks that somehow work off of magnetism and something that I can't move that does not open that appears to point somewhere.
J.D. Vance's fraud task force already recovered $230 billion. Yes, the war is more than paid for. We cool?
I took the COVID shot. How do I get rid of the spike protein that is now in my body? I know that many people were blackmailed into taking the shot. But there are 3 things that will inhibit the spike protein producing the nanoparticles. One is zinc, the other is dandelion, and the dandelion can be the flower, the leaf, the root, or dandelion tea or coffee. And you don't have to take all of these, just one of them's enough, and white pine needle tea. But also, Dr. Peter McCulloch has a protocol, and I think that's fairly easy to access. So if someone has had the shot, they should be having one of these every day to inhibit the spike protein causing the nanoparticles. Nano is barely measurable. The problem with the nanoparticles is they're so small, but once you get 50 together, you start to get little clots.
I don't think I started the stream on the radio. Let's hit the on-air button. Make sure the online stream's still going. The server stops too, so I think that's on their end. I think they're doing that. Of course, I found out that our streaming is from the streaming widget that our mix goes into, that the program goes into. Is from Tel Aviv. That guy admitted it today. We checked your site. Interesting. I don't want to switch brands. I mean, I really want to because of that fact alone. But it's so cheap, and unlimited thing's cheap. I don't think they're timing us, doing the hour thing that we have to buy more. No, I don't know how that works. Unlimited. The other one, though, covers the rights. So, I don't think that was lightning. We'll check the radar. We're looking here.
Now, with all the fires happening around the world and all the natural calamities, this is just a conspiracy theory.
Okay, just wanted to make a quick clip to document something that's rather important. Wondering if you have noticed any anomalies in the wildfire scenes. You know, all those fires that are sweeping the nation and other nations as well. Well, there's this dude named Robert Brame. He's a forensic arborist. He's spent his whole life with trees. He started to notice some things that really didn't make any sense. Like when he...
I think I brought him up months ago, and all they could do was make fun and nitpick and say that he's not a direct energy weapon expert, but he is a tree expert. And you don't have to be an expert to learn how direct energy weapons work for the public about the information.
He saw entire neighborhoods wiped out. And yet the trees all around them, surrounding them, were unaffected.
Previous wildfire. I don't think it's the same one.
Like this shot from Paradise. You notice every one of these homes is reduced to white ash, and yet the trees surrounding them,
touching the home,
survived.
Again, we looked up earlier, folks.
That defies...
We looked up earlier, a lot of these trees are the problem. I don't know what the percentage is, but a lot of up next to houses and neighborhoods and landscaping, they put these flammable juniper or whatever style trees. Flammable oils, these colors, all those different types of trees and bushes and plants and wood stuff in the yard, whatever. Their houses are made of dead wood too. I mean, but there's stuff that's wood full of oils. You could argue that, but they got smart meters. At one time, we kind of fireproofed and kind of stained everything where it wouldn't just light up like that. That's what I thought. I don't know, but it's very interesting. We have to confirm what these trees are that are surviving, because they don't look big enough to me to retain water and to look that good. I just don't think there's metal up against it. I think the trees are getting shocked by whatever. I don't know. We've seen the clip.
Reality. The natural principles of reality. Here's another one. Completely surrounded by trees, but every home completely eradicated. Here's another example. I could go on for years with all the examples out there. But at some point, you're going to get what I'm talking about. This here is an exceptional example. None of the trees around it
Yeah, that's not a wildfire.
were
folks.
burning with the exception of what was caused by this fire.
Wildfire spread, so if they got to that house, it came from
Now this is where it really starts to get interesting. Notice the burn patterns here. Notice where the fire...
If it hit that house, it came from somewhere. Wildfire spread. There's not just hot spots that happen at the same time, then burn off. Neighborhoods, houses outside of neighborhoods. And then you got stuff like this. You got nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing against this right here, folks. Nothing. I've talked to tons of people on TikTok. They bring this up. I used to debate this subject before they started just kind of criminalizing every topic other than flat Earth. Somehow. Because what was happening was we had witnesses from the area come in during an event like this on TikTok, and I can stream it to YouTube so you get the evidence. But now, I had that guy from Brazil. I'm still trying to find that clip. I said I'd pay $100, maybe $500 for someone to clip that. If the live stream is still available on this YouTube page, you go through the old live stream and watch hours of us talking about. And you find that clip where this guy from Brazil comes in panicky. We're talking about the COVID jab, and he says the planes went down. The plane that went down with all them doctors, that shit was real. We were trying to detox the jab, and now they're after me. And he was, I never heard nobody like that. Immediately questioned, I was like, y'all got the Amish, right? Yeah. Natives? The Amish didn't get it, they're fine. The natives did, and they're fucked. Yeah. Alright, wow. Go ahead, brother. I just had to know. Same thing is here in America. Fuck. I don't remember if anybody remembers that. If it was my box, I feel like it was, or it might have been somebody else's. I knew exactly what to do in that situation. Just that reaction was to compare it and find out who didn't get the jab and who did. And that's the two easiest spots you can look. The Amish are everywhere. If they have the Amish in all over America, Canada, Mexico, Brazil, then let's just assume that they're like Jays. They're everywhere, but nowhere. Right? Except the Amish are good. The Amish stick to themselves. I don't know, maybe they're secretly like Jays. The Amish Mafia has something going on. No, I'm just kidding. I think they stick to themselves.
Fire is coming from. It's not on the ground. It's not coming from a fire. It's everywhere that metal touches wood. All right? These are some of Robert's images that he's shared from all of the investigation that he's done. You see this? Notice the patterns here. It's burning where there are metal bolts going through the wood. It's not burning the wood. It's not burning the wood unless there is metal in the wood. And look at this here.
2 million views.
This appears to be a metal cable.
Nobody's buying your excuses.
And the fire, to me, looks like plasma. It's going above and below the cable.
So you got like maybe 10-20% of the world still trying to pretend this shit isn't happening because it's not happening to you. But I don't think the people experiencing this could believe that anymore. And the rest of the world knowing they're next. The 80% plus, that's like, look at the views, man. If this wasn't real, and this wasn't that, the dude would have like maybe 100,000 views. Maybe. But probably just 1,000 to a few hundred, and a bunch of people laughing at this thing. And people in their fucking conspiracy, no, but you can't do that shit anymore. They've just confirmed it in the mainstream media, bro.
Able.
Everywhere you see a metal bolt going through the wood, you see it's being energized and set on fire. That defies the natural principles. This is a trestle bridge. There's a fence post. The only place it burnt is where there are nails. The only place this burned is where the bolts touched the wood. You see this? You start to see a pattern here. All right? Again and again and again, Robert was finding these anomalies and realizing this This is not natural. This is not right. This defies everything. Wildfires do not do this. So he began sounding the alarm.
This is a list of the 10 anomalies that Robert has noticed and documented that you should probably make a copy of and see if you can find yourself. There are certainly some exceptional examples out there in reality.
Sorry, folks. Hold on a second. I'll read this in case you can't see it. The bug's trying to ruin the experience right now for no reason. It's not even hitting the screen, going after the light, flying into me, trying to get my milk. Ground to level fire starts at 300 degrees, and aluminum rims melted would start at melting at 1221. Auto glass melted, 2500 degrees. Plastics, synthetics, rubber set away from homes didn't burn. Pine needles mostly didn't burn. Forest fires was 427 maximum. Water loving or high water building capacity trees burned from the inside out, not normal. Homes turned to white ash, rarely blackened wood remains. That's got to be microwave. It cooks from the inside out. Homes turned to white ash, rarely blackened wood remains. Steel culvert pipes replaced with plastic or cement pipes. Mobile homes targeted. 10 mobile parks were burned in the Paradise Fire. Tires with steel belts burned completely, while those with polyester cores didn't. Wood fence posts burn where metal components are attached. So again, I'd be getting the tires right now that don't have the... Hang on a minute. With the steel belts. And try to stick the polyester... I don't know if it's up to you. If that's still a thing. Obviously, it was then. And that's not that long ago, folks. Look up the Oklahoma panhandle that we just had not too long ago, and then look up going up in Nebraska. Lots of area, bro.
This is a list of the 10 anomalies that Robert has noticed and documented that you should probably make a copy of and see if you can find yourself. There are certainly some exceptional examples out there in reality. Notice how this bridge is on fire everywhere at the same time. Notice.
Oh my God. If it's liquefying the metal, then it should be able to burn the wood. The temperature's about the same. God damn it. Stupid fucking bugs. Holy shit. This bug won't leave me the fuck alone. Damn bugs. What the heck? Big bug flying on me. Let's see, let's get some light. I think I got it. I just squeezed my left knee. Let's finish this in here. Well, that's an example.
Notice how this bridge is on fire everywhere at the same time. I had seen this image of the Woolsey fire
in Malibu of a bridge that was on fire and smoldering. The metal beams were bent. Yet the trees surrounding the bridge miraculously survived. I went to investigate this bridge myself. I filmed quite a bit of footage and noticed some very unique anomalies. This bridge was constructed with metal beams, wooden planks, covered in asphalt. And you can see where the nails were going through the wood between the beams. And you probably realize that a wood fire typically doesn't heat up steel beams to the point where they melt and warp. If you look around the side and the back, you'll see most of the trees are still unburnt. So, from my background and experience working with microwaves, I was able to recognize these principles and properties can be attributed to microwave-assisted combustion. And I did a few experiments to demonstrate this. We have recreated a fence post with nails in it and wire that wraps around it. We've put these screws in there, these tacks in there to further demonstrate what's happening is the microwave radiation is being attracted to the metal. It heats up and then it sets the wood on fire. These are the effects that we're seeing in these wildfire areas with the fence posts and the nails that are charred or that have set the wood on fire from the nail, or like a guardrail where it goes.
Anybody that's burned wood planks, pile of old wood they've tore off something with nails in it, and the nails are still going to be there in the white ash, folks. So how are the nails heating up and the wood's not? The wood's got to get pretty hot to melt the nail. So a fence post should be, the whole post should be on fire. I don't know.
Where the bolt goes through the wood, it's setting them on fire in that spot, which is not a trait of a natural wildfire. All right, so we're going to demonstrate this here in a microwave field.
Fall. Let me refill my tea glass. But what? And we'll show you exactly what we've been claiming for years and how to replicate it. Again, us truthers, we can replicate it. Flat earthers can replicate their model with terrarium and show you a container water cycle with a vertical gradient. Only thing is they need a local less hot sun. So the bottom's hotter than the top. And then boom, they need mountains, hills, valleys, and slopes for the water cycle. They need to recreate jet streams. We're not God, but we got that part right. We got the condensation, the rain, and the plants survive. Forever biome. Forever. Anyway, we'll be right back real quick. Just real quick. See if this bug is gone. Looks gone enough for me. You guys need to go down there, because they're not online, and see what's next to you on the county commissioner list of properties. If Google AI sources were correct, Sequoia County should do it. It's a statewide thing. You're allowed on property that's been there forever to bid under the listed $300 or a few thousand. Alright. Oh, I say a lot of stuff I need to not say. It works, but we're having it. Detroit Ravens. It's like not looking at. Sorry, I had something going on. Maybe next year, man. I had to move to get land. Big go back to pop. Let's go. Back outside. Check our battery life here. Do we need to extend? No, not yet. Bolt goes. Does alright. Let's get it. For a local high school, when I get my bike going, I can fit all my shit in there. I'll get a better camera. And I want to perfect my streaming. If you're in the eastern Oklahoma area, Sequoia County, LaFleur County, surrounding, you got a small school that doesn't stream their football. And we can get you set up overnight. YouTube, maybe even stream it to Facebook if I get the Elon Musk internet, because the school Wi-Fi and Ethernets and all that stuff sucks. So let's get into the video. That's what I do on the side. I'm probably going to try to perfect that here at a small 8-man high school or something, and on Friday nights. That way when spring football comes back around, if the Gators want me again, I got the bugs kinked out here at the school. Perfected what to say, got everything down, Got a guy there that does the voice. We just need to find a Tulsa guy here to do the voice. We need to redo this thing. And that's how it's going to work. And we'll come back in it. You know what's going on. So let's step back outside. It's going to be noisy again when I talk because of this AC thing. But it's all good. Oh, we're not doing this. We're not doing this shit with the screen. Off the screen up. You know I will. Leave it in here. So that way. I'll drop it. Yeah, I'll see the side of the cloud. Well, I'm curious. We'll check after this. Alright, let's restart. Let's go.
Through the wood, it's setting them on fire in that spot, which is not a trait of a natural wildfire. All right, so we're going to demonstrate this here in a microwave field.
Exactly what we've been shown.
All right. If those bolts were not there, you see that? It's happening where the bolts cross the wood. If the bolts were not there, it would not set the wood on fire. All right, you see here where metal is going through here, that's what set it on fire. There was a metal tack in each of these spots, all right? The wood itself did not burn anywhere else except where the metal went through it, all right? Now, the magnetron is right back here in this microwave, so it's directed right there. So some of these weren't really in range to get heated up like the others did. All right, but you see here, that's where that tack went through. And that's what set this on fire. And this is exactly what we're seeing. It looks just like this. And so there's been this theory that it was caused by microwave-assisted combustion. And I think this definitely demonstrates that is certainly possible and probably the likely scenario of what we're seeing. All right. The same anomalies, which you can't get from a regular wildfire. For a wildfire to set a fence post on fire, it burns in the grass. We're seeing. All right. The same anomalies, which you can't get from a regular wildfire. For a wildfire to set a fence post on fire, it burns in the grass, and it might set it on fire. You get strong winds, heat, no humidity. If it's really dry, it'll set it on fire.
You can find many examples where the grass isn't even burnt.
A lot of these trees that are burning, all right, you see this right here? None of these trees burnt. But you got 16 cars that burnt so freaking hard. The metal was melted. The windshields were melted. That's 2,500 degrees plus to melt safety glass. And yet the trees are totally cool. Check them out. No problems with the trees. They call it a wildfire because it's really wild.
The max of a house fire? 5. Forest fires.
Take a look at how that's burning.
Plus, and it had to be 2,000. And that's wildfire.
You notice how it's all on fire at once? There's no grass burning around it.
No grass.
It's an indication. Anyway. I just wanted to share this because people need to comprehend what's really happening.
and the agendas behind it, specifically the 30 by 30 initiative and the Wildlands Project. They want to exclude all human activity from the wildlands. And they're going to tie it in with all this climate change propaganda. And this is why you're seeing all the wildfires and the floods and the landslides in the wildlands. And you're seeing the homes getting...
Looks like what we've seen during the last reset, folks, of... We had one in 1700, and then they had the one during the World's Fair. Fires, floods, mud floods, landslides, in all the history books, every city.
Taken out.
Not all of them.
You're seeing the homes on fire and not the trees. Look at the evidence. There's a lot more to it. People need to know. And just because this information defies what you were led to believe on TV doesn't mean it's a crazy conspiracy.
It's the Samson option.
It doesn't mean it's fake news.
It's not.
It does mean that there's evidence that somebody's lying to you. And if you want to know who, you got to figure out what the truth is. You got to look at the evidence yourself and stop listening to these talking heads. Doesn't matter if it's the red channel or the blue channel. It's all propaganda. Anybody on the stage is a fucking actor.
Anyway, folks.
All these people have lost their homes. Entire towns have been wiped out. There's at least 5 towns in Oregon that were just wiped off the map.
Texas. The list goes on. Places.
Choking on the ashes of the American dream. And everyone just thinks it's the evil global warming monster. Mad about the cow farts. Yep, if you just pay your green fees and your climate taxes and sell your car and take the bus, move out of the wildlands into the sustainable cities and eat the bugs, the weather will change. Yes, sirree, Bob. Nobody realizes that the weather is being changed by the people who make all the money off of this massive shakedown operation. Land grab operation, population control operation, all rolled into one big happy package. The Great Reset. There's a very little chance of turning this thing around at this point. But if you're still alive, you're still in the game. May the odds be ever in your favor.
I mean, you know, there's a guy that didn't want this to happen. I'm warned about that. There's quite a few leaders, but they said they were all terrorists. The people that are doing this to you right now. Again, it's always a Bomberg or a Stein. They change their name to hide. They always complain and whine. But that's another topic. Well, we got weather coming in. I gotta go do that and run the radio station. Figure out what's going on the website. So we might wrap this video up here. So I think that does kind of seal the deal. Folks, this is happening everywhere. We need to tune in. I'm quick with it. I try to get quick with it. I try to break it down. Because I could just sit here and ramble for 12 hours straight on one topic. So I like to use this to train myself to decompartmentalize through the different parts of the topic real fast. I could go in further detail on each individual thing, but we try to just... But this one I really wanted to get mainly to this. It was a direct energy weapon thing. I did want to go through one mainstream mission next. I could show you 5 or 10, and then this, that, and the third. So again, the lightning looks to be getting more frequent and brighter. Yet nothing on the radar. So we're going to check, see what's going on. We have one to the north going south, but look, I had a little storm earlier. If you want to watch, it's Revolt, R-E-V-O-L-T radio 90.1 on YouTube. On the website, And if we can get it to do it on the Facebook too, we'll try to do that. We only got that to work once. Anyway, appreciate it. If the weather's kind of noisy, hope that wasn't a cat making a noise like a big cat. But either way, we're live over there with the weather. This was a great video. I really don't want to end it yet. What I need to do though is remote access. Pause this bullshit. Remote access. Live Al Jazeera News. Bam, 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 bam. I don't trust that to ever do anything. I want to reset it. I missed it. We're switching programs. It's going to be all automated. Don't hate me. We're getting it all down. Uh-oh.
Officials, and the earlier operation targeted 2 or 3 military bases operated by the Yemeni government in coordination with Saudi Arabia. This is in accordance to the Ansar Allah Houthis press statement. Of course, what we know from the Yemeni group is that they've threatened and they've promised to escalate their military operations against Saudi Arabia and against the Saudi allies in the country. They believe that the Yemeni army is coordinating with.
That in. We're gonna go here. I mean, the nearest thing is Clarksville. What? Let's look at a satellite. Maybe the lightning is going through. There's a little spot. No, I guess the whole cloud's close. I see it now. You know, the storm itself. Oh, I guess Tahlequah's close. I'm looking south, southwest. Weird shit. Anyway, we do have that forming up. We're gonna look at it. So this is where my radio station is gonna be. Eastern Oklahoma, maybe around that. I don't want affiliates. Anybody, AM's empty and it's dead, and the only way to revive it is to be a fully truth station like me. Or the majority. You might as well just give in and do it. The FCC says we're protected free speech, that anti-Semitism is free speech. Even though Trump said we need to pull anyone's license reporting accurately on that, we're trying to get a license and we're going to report accurately regardless. Screw Trump. But my point is, there's 2 things I need help with out here. I don't remember what the other one is, but if y'all want to part 15, there it is. But what did I say earlier? If you live in this area, damn, what did I say? These are the counties. So I could clip what I said earlier because I don't give 2 fucks. I said something earlier. Also, with these counties, that I need people. I don't know, but I know I'm going to look now at the other counties to find land on the commissioner list that I could put a transmitter site for a few $100. So now we have a way and a possible budget for a transmitter site. Like right around in here is where I want it. Since we can't, there's one close to Fort Smith on 90.3, and Tulsa I think moved to 90.1. We might be able to fit something here. If not, and they won't let me, we'll leave it at, we cover the whole eastern Oklahoma. Local corruption, statewide stuff they don't talk about on mainstream news. We don't want to, unless it's something that validated by the mainstream news that we talk about that normally wouldn't be on there. Not everything, but you know, But that's just what it is, controversial opinions and talk and controversial fact all the way down here. But we might be able to, like Sakota, the fall area might be a good one, not to interfere with that, and maybe the Poto. Right now, though, you can put 15 repeaters up around your town and area if you're out here or anywhere in the country, and easily your program radio DJs are free. We can get you with a free program to run your own programming, and music automatically take over while mine runs as filler in the background overnight or whatever. And then your ID and branding goes in place of mine. Like if you want to be a straight up affiliate, that's how we're doing it. Full-time affiliate, I think. You can interrupt for local programming though, for emergencies and local news break or news hour or something like that. Well, for the most part, like we want to do the low power equivalent to Air One. I think we could all do that. Have local affiliate owners with a little studio. And we just want it to be pretty much like a McDonald's. You own that shit. You own whatever. You can probably change it to a Burger King and stop if you can't handle it. You can opt out at any time. But right now, free programming full time is what we're trying to do. Eventually, maybe if y'all are cool when we get everybody to make money to get the, but this is what you need. So if you're on AM, repeat it for sure. If you're on the FM and don't have programming, or you want to get a low power spot somewhere, I think we could do that. With the next filing window, that's the goal, is to get affiliates by the next filing window with this truth before they exterminate us all. But you can start right here if you're in the local area. Again, I'll have local programming that you can interrupt with your own, or if you use the stuff we do, the normal playlist will record of what's played all day during the live, I think, and it'll repeat that in place of, let's say we got a tornado on the ground here, you don't want that shit because it doesn't affect you across the country if you over here in Tennessee, but yet everything else affects you. Or if we're involved, we're on the scene because we're local, and this is like what I want the area to be. The main area of the radio side. Well, that was the plan, but I don't know if it's going to be able to work. Somewhere there, maybe over here. I don't know. But the point was, is to make something like that. Get everything set up, right? Multiple. Let's do one main site with the 100-watt limit, but they let you get 2 translators on the FM. So I could do one, and again, I think these are on different frequency. I could do one towards Tulsa, so, or even up here, towards the center of the Cherokee Nation area right here, like on the sign, like the Soto, the J, there's a lot of native stuff up there, but like, you get what I'm saying. So, and we could probably hit towards Tulsa and Muskogee, Sakota, down towards Poto. So we put the main side around Sakota, up towards Warner, maybe the Warner, Pullum, Braggs. We'll just say that's an example. Sorry, circle on the map. Here we go. Yep, I knew it. Control. And I still didn't do it. I hadn't done the snore. Alright, let's zoom in and get an idea here of what I'm trying to do. No Truther's doing it right now. I'm getting canceled and attacked every which way for doing it, but it's fine. So far positive. Truth reviews. Listen, positive. Listen. So, new circle. Let's just, because that 90.3 is close bleed off, we're going to move more up here or down here. I don't know. Let's see. Fuck it. I thought it was 3.5. Max. Oh. Main site distance. 3.5. See, I got it right. See, 3.5 just to help me sleep. Anyway. Usable signal may stretch slightly further with severe terrain or interference limits. I don't think it's required. Could it go further with right conditions? And is that allowed at 100? Or do they have to reduce? Let's say flat Kansas, farmland, or oh, you gotta change the height. Yep, that's how they, I forgot that. That's how they get you. Yeah, that's the service contour, so we'll just bam. Okay. Alright, now we just not very far when you're out here, right? So here's my plan. So we're capped at 100 watts with the main, but we can do this 250 watts. So you don't have the same restrictions on your translators. Depending on your region, FM translator can broadcast a maximum 250 watts even at high altitudes. Even at the high altitudes. So this is how we get the real signal. The main signal 90.1, but the others are just repeating that. And maybe with the, we get everything set up, it'll just say revolt, and we'll AI all the jingles that they're already AI. We'll get it to redo it if it can. See if it'll recreate this song just like it did, or at least so we can cut the bit to say revolt radio, not 101.3, whatever the other available thing is, right? Probably 90.9 in Tulsa. If they moved to 90.1 from 90.9, if they no longer own that anymore, and if it's available, we'll see. They have to overlap. We'll get into it. West Mississippi River, Clinton, Kansas, max 250 watts at 107 meters, or 351 feet above the average terrain. So I can put a translator on a commercial tower, grain elevator, 300 feet, keep it full 250 watts, and cover an immense amount of farmland. So here we go. They want to keep low power FM local. They place unique restrictions on translators owned by low power FM, the 2-pack limit. We can only have 2. And this is why you would own your own, and you would get two. And then we just sign an affiliate agreement. So we're providing programming. But you have your own local programming in place of that. Translator tower cannot be placed more than 20 miles away from your local, no more than 20 miles away. Fuck, that was off. Fuck it. So. Oh shit, south side of it, 20. Move that up a little bit and assume for now that that's 20 since the summit area is around 17 and a half, give or take. Not knowing exactly where that pinpoint is, we'll just do that. So 20 miles. Radius. Duh. So we got that deal. And then we got uh-oh, too far. Whoa. Alright, so now, we get that one out of here. So now we're looking at the map. This is the plan. And I might restart and do this one, the other channel. So, yep.